Hi, I'm Dr. R, and in this video, I want to share with you my thoughts on how to read your PowerPoint lectures. You just downloaded a PowerPoint with 100 slides, or 80 slides, or 60. It doesn't really matter. It's a lot of slides. And somehow, all of this information will need to get into your brain. I have some tips for you on how to approach this. First, let me tell you what it is that is organized on these PowerPoint slides. As a professor of science, specifically biology, I too use PowerPoint for lectures. My approach is really just to go step by step with different terms and concepts that students need to know. All of these terms cannot fit onto one slide. Why am I telling you this? You see, in one given lecture, I will really teach about 2, 3, maybe 4 concepts, which I would really like to just put onto 2, 3, or 4 slides. But all the words and the information associated with it would not fit on just a few slides. So it's broken up into multiple slides. To you, the student, that may seem like multiple different ideas. But it's really just pieces of a very few ideas. What should you do when studying PowerPoint lecture slides? My first tip is identify the main concepts of the PowerPoint. For example, if the chapter is on the cell, something I'm currently teaching right now, the first part of this chapter covers different types of cells. And then the second part of this chapter really covers mostly what are the organelles or substructures within a eukaryotic cell. To me, this lecture has been divided into 2 halves. And even though my students see 60 slides, to me it's 2 halves. The next tip is, under each of these topics that you've identified, write down the key terms. These are usually bolded words such as definition-based words or vocabulary words or words that you're just unfamiliar with. List them in small groups, maybe 5 to 10 at a time, organized underneath that main topic that you identified. As you're doing this, you may start to realize that there's a major subheading for that slide with information spread from maybe 3, 4, or 5 slides about one term. And you're starting to see now how some of these terms are explained on multiple slides. Study all of these keywords one at a time first, under each topic, and then, without looking at the slides after you've studied, try to use those keywords together in a sentence or 2. Repeat that for as many keywords as possible, knowing that the more keywords you can connect in sentences, the better you understand the information as a topic, not just as individual definitions. Another tip I have for you is, as your professor speaks, they will likely tell you what topics they are covering and how a specific term is related to a larger topic. Make note of this. Don't just write what you see on the slides or write verbatim what the professor is saying. Listen to when they say, this term is part of this bigger concept. And each time they say that, they will help you to organize which terms belong to which concept. That will help you to make those lists that I mentioned and help you to strategize better in your studying. Another tip I have for you is compare your PowerPoint lecture to your textbook if possible. If your professor did not make a PowerPoint on their own and it's associated with a textbook for your course, it's likely that your textbook and your PowerPoint will follow a similar pattern of information and how it's organized. Look in your textbook, look in your PowerPoint. Try to match up as much as possible and organize that information. Oftentimes, your textbook will have an outline for each chapter that will help you to see what the main concepts are. And that could help you to organize your lecture PowerPoints better. Hopefully these tips were useful to you in order to organize the information that you see when you look at PowerPoints, and that you will not be as overwhelmed when you read your PowerPoints next time. Also remember, read it early before going to class. That way you'll become a little more familiar with it, and that makes it a little easier to listen to your professor and understand what they're saying. All the best.